If you're like me, you don't want to spend every single hour of your day studying. In today's video, I will show you how you can optimize your studying and your learning sessions in order to take the most out of them and in the end spend less time studying, but study better and more effective and maybe even increase your marks. Of course, not everyone is able to learn at the same speed. Some people simply are faster in taking up the things you have to learn. Others are simply slower, but I'm sure that everyone can at least optimize their own studying. It's not about whether you're faster at studying than someone else and whether you can study better and more effectively today than you did yesterday. Because if you can get better than the person you were yesterday, you will have more time. You will maybe not have more time than the person who is an absolute genius with 140 IQ and understands math in the instant, but you will have more time than your prior self. So let's get right into it. I would recommend you that you start studying a few days before the exam. When you have a deadline right tomorrow, of course, you will be able to work fully focused and study because you have to, because it's tomorrow, you're under time pressure. But nevertheless, you will not be able to absorb the materials you have to learn if you only studied the day before. You have to take some time and take some days prior to start your studying. So I would recommend you that you start 3 or 4 days before the exam. This is also the advantage of studying for a few days instead of just studying the day before the exam. You're able to study for shorter periods of time, which will make it seem as if you are studying shorter, but in the end, you will have approximately the same amount as if you would put in like 2 hours or 3 hours into the exam. But instead of putting the 3 hours in one time, you're simply splitting it up for a few days. You also have the advantage of sleeping in between your learning sessions. This is shown to increase your capabilities and therefore learn far better. Just do this 4 days before the exam, or it can also be just 3 days before the exam. Study for at least 25 minutes. The second step. Now you're not studying with a deadline hanging above your head. You have a lot of time to prepare. So now the challenge you have is to stay focused. Because of course it's easy to stay focused if you simply have to crank in all the learning in one period of time because the exam is tomorrow. But if the exam is in 3 or 4 days, you can allow yourself to get distracted and not learn focused. So what I would say you do is you apply the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique works in this way that you first study focused for 25 minutes and then take a break of 5 minutes. I personally think that this method works so well because you have a capped or limited amount of time that you need to study. You have to do the challenging work only for a limited amount of time and you are able to see the end. This means that, let's imagine that you have to study 50 pages of some subject, maybe chemistry. So it seems like a lot of work. So it can easily happen that you simply push it off because, oh, that's so much work, I don't want to do it right now, and you push it off to the next day. But if you commit to 25 minutes, you can already see the end. You see that 25 minutes is not that challenging and not that much time after all, and you're able to push through. So do that. Try the next time, 4 days or 3 days before the exam, try the Pomodoro technique. Take a timer, set it to 25 minutes or whatever period of time you want to work for, and then just do it. Commit to working focused during those 25 minutes, and then you're allowed to take a break. The next thing is to create a productive environment. We as human beings are very visual creatures. Did you ever notice yourself starting to crave cake so much the moment you started seeing it? And before that, you didn't even know that you want cake? That is because you suddenly see it. The same is true if you get distracted. Let's imagine you're trying to work focused for 25 minutes, but on your desk is cluttered, the phone is next to you, the computer is open with YouTube open on it, Of course, you will not be able to study focus for 25 minutes because there are distractions everywhere and you can't even find your notes. So that is so important that you create yourself a pleasant and productive environment. First of all, declutter your entire desk. If you have sheets of paper and books, etc. lying on your desk, simply put it all off the desk somewhere, then you can sort it through, but try to keep your desk as clean as possible. The second thing is to put your phone away. Mute your phone and put it best in another room. If you need to set your timer on your phone, make sure that your phone is at least muted for the notifications. The other thing is, if you need your laptop, then make sure that you only have those tabs open that you really need for your studying, and also make sure that your table is well lit. You don't want to be working and trying to study in a too dark environment. And the last thing that might help you is to, whenever it is possible, instead of learning by heart, trying to understand the flow of concepts. So this can be shown at an example with history. Let's imagine two people have to study for a history exam. The one just learns everything by heart. This came after this and this came after this. The other one instead looks at the key events during the time. Okay, this thing happened. Then, because of this, another thing happened. What is the outcome and what is the event? If you can connect this in a logical way, because there's always some more or less logical human behavior behind history. If you can visualize it as a flow instead of just events that happened, you will be able to understand it and only learn the first event by heart, and the other one will simply flow as you go. Other thing is, of course, math and physics. These two subjects are only about understanding. Once you understand the topic well, it's only about practicing and doing the mistakes before the exam. But there's really not a lot of studying to do. You just have to understand. If you're a person that doesn't understand math, watch a few YouTube videos on this topic, maybe read something, and try to educate yourself how you can better start to understand instead of trying to learn by heart. Because I see some people that don't understand math and they are just solving all the exercises. But of course, at the exam, not those exercises will come, and then they still don't perform very well. Instead, if they may be focused on trying to understand the topic in some way, maybe the teacher isn't able to explain them very well, but maybe if you watch some video by someone, they will explain it in a more visual way that you will be able to understand it. So you have to research and do your stuff, but everyone can for sure improve their way of studying and optimize it so that you get the best results from the time that you put in. Because that is the goal, I think, so that you don't spend hours and hours and hours every day studying, but that you know how to study effectively, quickly, short, and then write good marks, not the absolute best, but good marks, and then have a lot of free time to do whatever you want and not be stressed out as a student, because that is the last thing you want. So I hope these few tips were able to help you to optimize your learning sessions, and now that you will be able to spend less time studying and maybe even get better marks. For sure, you were able to take something out of this video. So if you like this video, please smash the like button, comment down below. What of the things will you be applying to your studying, and what content do you wish me to make? If you have some friends that might also profit from this information, please share it with them, and we will see each other very soon. Until next time, bye and good luck at your next exam.